Adrian Wojnarowski is tweeting, quote, sources, Leslie Alexander has agreed to a deal to sell the Rockets to Houston billionaire Tillman Fertitta, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, it's Fertitta, for an NBA record sales price of $2.2 billion.
Can we find out what Leslie Alexander bought it for?
Yeah, we'll get that for you in a second.
Wow.
How do you acquire $2 billion?
$2.2 billion for the Rockets.
That's a lot of money. Oh, my word.
That is, remember the Steve Ballmer purchase of the Clippers went for $2 billion. I believe that the purchase prior to that had been the Bucks at something like $550 million. So the jump in franchise valuations in recent years has been ridiculous.
1993-94 season, Leslie Alexander bought the team for $85 million.
$85 million. He sold it for $2.2 billion. That's insane.
Billion.
Yeah.
You got to go way deep when you say billion.
The new owner, by the way, pending approval, owns a company called Landry's, which, among other things, has casino holdings. Brian Windhorst tweets, he will join a list of NBA owners with casino holdings. He owns the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. Ooh. And Michelle Steele tweeted that's one of the differences in the NFL, that they prevent ownership from having casino interest. So the NFL is in Vegas, but the NBA has casino interest.
All right, so there you heard it. That oh man, hey, there you heard it. Is you got the story that the Rockets have been sold for $2.2 billion to Tillman Fertitta. As someone who's in the Houston area, this is a well-known family due to their restaurant chain. Of course, you heard that they own the Landry's, and there's a variety of different restaurants that are very popular in the Texas region. And if you're really down south Louisiana, you're gonna know about it. Of course, you also heard he owns the Golden Nugget out in Las Vegas. So that's a family that got the money. And I think for Rockets fans, those that wanted to see someone that was from Houston own the team, or from that knows the area, I believe the family's originally I think they have some Louisiana roots as well. So I mean, I think for a lot of people that are in Houston, you got a lot of people that are from Louisiana as well. So that are also Rockets fans. Some people that are from like the western part of Louisiana, maybe Rockets fans versus maybe being Pelicans fans. But when you go into it, man, I mean, I think it's a good deal for the Rockets. One, because if the owner is willing to spend $2.2 billion to buy the Rockets, which I actually thought was going to probably sell between 1.5 to 1.75, I didn't think it would get the $2 billion price of the Clippers. Of course, as everybody knows with the Clippers situation, the sell was a very quick sell. And I believe the team was really valued at like 1.25 billion. So the price, or $1 billion, the price that it was actually sold for was to basically knock out all people that wanted to get it. Of course, there was rumors at that time that Oprah Winfrey was trying to get a team together to try and buy it, and of course that didn't work out, and it ended up being sold to the current owner, Ballmer, who is, I believe he is one of the original, people of Microsoft. So he has, a lot of money to spend, and $2 billion is nothing. I think if you're a Rockets fan, I think the reason why a Rockets fan will like this is, like Lex Alexander, Fertitta is going to be willing to go over the luxury tax and not give a damn, because he has money like that. So I think that's a good thing. He's, relatively energetic, younger guy. He's not like a very old, he's not like Dr. Jerry Buss when he was later on in his career. Even though Dr. Jerry Buss was still an amazing mind, he had the right people in place. I think if you are a player, and if you're a player that's looking to come to a team that's going to be trying to build titles, I think Fertitta is the best guy, because he's a guy that wants to win, and people knowing him, people knowing his businesses and how he operates and how he always wants it to be the best, and he always has it top notch as far as the quality of his restaurants, as far as amongst this area, considering the price as well. I think that he's a guy is probably the perfect guy for it, because I know that people were talking about Beyonce and all this stuff. What people don't understand is that a lot of these artists and entertainers that you hear about, they got all this money. You heard they're worth $1 billion or more, and they're a power couple, all this stuff. They don't got money like that. They really don't. They don't got money like that to buy teams. They're never going to have that kind of bread. They'll have the money to be a minority stake owner like Jay-Z was, and Jay-Z didn't even own that much of the Brooklyn Nets. It was a very small stake, just like it was for Usher with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're never going to really see these guys be able to put together. See, if they want to be able to be serious about doing something like that, they would have to actually form a pact early on that they would say, listen, if a team is if the X, Y, and Z teams are available, we need to get together immediately and be able to put together $2 billion to buy a team. They're not going to be able to do that, because their money is not really tied up like that. Their net worth and the money that they really generate can change at any time. But when you have like a solid profile, like the Fertitta family does, when it comes to their chain of restaurants, when it comes to the Golden Nugget out in Vegas, when it comes to other investments that they've made in the region and they're making in the future, they have a true value of what they have versus like being a mogul that's really being paid by other companies, which, that's what a lot of people don't understand. So it's very different than being a true business owner. That's why businessmen are the ones that are really scooping up these teams. It's not really entertainers that are scooping up these teams. Now, back when Lex Alexander bought the team for $85 million in 93-94, which I remember. I remember that time. It was crazy because, there was a lot of drama with the team leading up to that point with some of the players, having problems, off the court. You had, of course, Hakeem had injuries during that time. He had injuries with his hamstring, which people accused him, even in Houston, of faking those injuries because he didn't want to be on the team anymore. It was a lot of people don't know some of the drama that the Rockets were going through at that particular time with having, Hakeem basically, reaching, about 30 years old, and here it is, he's busted his butt for a team that cannot put a decent enough talent around him. And it was just basically a team that was looking like it was just always going to be a middle of the pack. It was never going to be a top tier team. And he happened to buy the team right when people didn't know where the direction of the team was going. I believe in the 93 season, the team finished second in MVP voting to that year in 93. I believe it might have been, it was definitely Charles Barkley, because in 93, Charles Barkley won the MVP, the league MVP. Of course, that was the last year in the first three-peat year for the Chicago Bulls before Jordan had just retired. So when he bought the team, it was amazing what they did. He got Don Chaney. They had Don Chaney before as a coach, who was a very good coach, very underrated coach. Considering what he had to work with, Don Chaney was very underrated in the league as a coach. But it just so happened that they got Rudy Tomjanovich in. They were able to make a couple of good draft picks that year. I want to say that's when they drafted Sam Cassell and Robert Horry. Who became, NBA legends to a certain degree. As far as their play in the playoffs, they're legendary. There's guys that everybody knows those are big game guys, and they happen to make two great draft picks of role players that would step in. In that 93-94 season, of course, Hakeem went off that whole year, and the team was just clicking. The chemistry on that team was one of the best chemistry you'll ever see on the team. That was a team that could beat teams that had 2 or 3 stars just because their system, their system was so good. Their role players are so effective, and their role players would play big games. They had everything. They had inside-outside game. They had guys that could rebound. They had guys that could shoot threes. They had guys that could defend. It was just an amazing team. And anybody who really followed that run, that's a very underrated run to watch, that 93-94 team. Because people talk down on it because of the fact that you had Jordan retire. But people have to really watch what the Rockets did that season and what they did in the playoffs, like from round 1 to the finals, to truly appreciate that team, Now, as far as Fertitta understands that because he was here, So I think that if you're a Rockets fan, there's probably no better owner that you could have had get your team than Fertitta. And I think that was the reason why Lex Alexander was comfortable with selling the team. One, he already knew Fertitta. These guys, all these billionaires in the Houston area, they all know each other, and he already knew that he wanted to buy the team. Lex Alexander was getting older. Lex Alexander also loves the Rockets dearly. He loves the Rockets team dearly, and that's why it was kind of crazy that he would sell the team. But I think he knew that, one, he was going to get a great offer for it, so that was going to be good for him business-wise and for his family. And two, he was going to give it over to a guy that understands his vision and that will carry it on. So what I expect from the Rockets ownership and what's going on with this is that it's a seamless transition. It's going to be as if you never did not have an owner. And I do expect that Lex Alexander, even after the sale, will be at games as well. So I think you'll still have that feel. And I think, if you're LeBron James, that's another caveat. If you're LeBron James, I think you should seriously consider Fertitta. One, LeBron James is into the whole restaurant chain business. As you know, LeBron James is an investor in Blaze Pizza. The Fertitta family has made their money as billionaires of dealing in the restaurant business. And I think that's one of the biggest ways to do that. In addition to that, he has a casino. If you're LeBron, now you got to consider if you can basically maybe get a partnership with him where you might develop something in Vegas, or even do something where you might be with him in business and then learn the ins and outs of different things. I think that if you're LeBron, you have to consider Houston, period. I just think it's very obvious that the Rockets would be positioning themselves to get LeBron, and I think that this right here is a good indicator from a financial standpoint that LeBron knows he can go to a team that has an owner that would be more than willing. Trust me, the Fertitta family is about spending money. Like anybody in Houston that knows them, they know that they will invest and put their money where their mouth is, and they will go over the tax, no doubt about it. They don't give a damn. They'll do it. It's not just the Tillman Fertitta. This is a family thing that's going on, and they love the Rockets, and they're going to make things happen. So that's what I think about it. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.